as they are paying such a tribute to the member of parliament, they're also suggesting that the NDC does same to the Akotiesi, so they could also pay tribute to Dr. Omane Boama because he also comes from the eastern region. Right. That was their point of view. And the NDC said, oh, for us, still go and fight for this. So I think it's election, that is democracy. So let's allow the two. Not even the two. Later it was APC, even decided to contest, but they were disqualified as a result of one or two things. So there's the NPP and the NDC contesting. So I believe that let's just allow the the 2 or 3 to contest. Whoever wins, then we see who actually becomes the member of parliament. But the whole issue here is Security Council, GPCC, has come out even to talk that and not election was not the best. We are up and doing. And they have arrested quite a number of people, 8 people from that not electoral violence. And they said that this alone tells them that they will be able to handle that of the Akwatia. So we should just believe in them, trust in the security services because they've learned their lesson from the Ablekumanot issues. Right. Yeah.
All right. So I also want to add up to what Clement said in terms of security. I mean, so we know that there are about 119 polling stations in Akwatia, and then in a press briefing, the IGP said that he has deployed, or he's going to deploy 5,000 security personnel. And so when you divide, you have extra men around to ensure that everything runs smoothly. And then sometimes I believe that these elections violence comes as a result of unattended, issues that occurred during previous elections, because some of these people feel that these elections like this are grounds for them to retaliate. I mean, what transpired, maybe the government, take, measures to ensure that things goes the right way. In terms of, we can talk about the Ayawa's Wogon elections, and then this recently, the one just ended. And so, but I'm glad that the IGP has come out with a report that some arrests have been made and that they are looking into the issues and, the right punishment is going to be meted out.
Right.
And then I want to also say that, election violence, there are not times, it doesn't pass away. And so as they are looking into the Ablekumanot election, they should equally visit Ayawasu Wogon and other ones to ensure that, the right things are being done so that people wouldn't take upcoming elections as an avenue to actually retaliate. Let me use the word retaliate, what transpired. So I'm sure that as time goes on, as they are looking into the Ablekuma ones, they should look at the subsequent ones and ensure that things move the right way.
Right. People are also raising concerns that seemingly there's a lot more police or security personnel deployed for the Akwatia elections. Is that Akwatia South? That's Akwatia, okay, Akwatia constituency. And it may sort of impede voter turnout because people will be afraid. But do you think that that is actually I don't want to use the word valid, but do you think that should be a concern for the people?
So before Peter comes in, during the Ablekumanot, if you had electoral process for Ablekumanot, I always say that the political class sometimes account to issues like this. Because in a video that was circulating during the Ablekumanot election, we had one political class person, a very key person, who was raising a concern that there are lots of police or security personnel at a polling station. And that one alone is just, as you are saying, it's not allowing voters to come and vote. A concern was raised during the Ablekumanot election. But what did we see? There was another issue of the misconduct or electoral violence. So I think that should be a concern. Why should the presence of the security or discourage you from voting? If you are not there to do something wrong, why should it deter you in the first place? If you are saying it's deterring people, it's just putting people or making them afraid of not going to vote, it means that they have something doing. They have something at the back of your mind. Because if you are working at a place freely and you have no bad intention, the presence of 100 military men shouldn't cause any panic in you. That's how I see it.
Right. Right.
And I also feel that their presence, and I'm sure that this time around, as we saw in the Ablekuma election, there were no military personnel there. So I'm sure that with Alcatia too, I'm sure there's not going to be military presence there. And so for the safety of the people and for what has transpired, the security personnel, I think, is very imperative. And so, like Clement said, it shouldn't deter them from going to cast their vote if you don't have any ulterior motive. So I would say that their presence there is a good thing because, yes, with the just past one, we saw, how do you call it? Journalists being assaulted and other, voters also being assaulted. And then we questioned the integrity of the police service. And so right now, I know we've all learned so many lessons, and going into Akwatia by-elections, I'm sure that the security present there is very imperative one, and I'm sure that the voters there too would conduct themselves in order not to find themselves wanting. And the IGP also said that they have a mobile prison, a moving one, and so if you go there and misbehave, you'll be put there.
You start your sentence before you get in some.
Understand? And we all don't, we don't want that. And so I am sure that we've learned lessons, and then going forward, we don't want to hear any clash, any misunderstanding and all that.
Right. So, dear voters in Akwatia, if you don't have any ulterior motives, please go with your clean heart and hands and vote wisely, and then go to your homes comfortably. Now, we have a video of the IGP addressing the GJA, so let's take a look at that quickly.
600 men have already moved to Akwatia. They are going to soften the ground. We heard so many TikToks and the social media comments. People say, we are going there with arms and everything. I want to assure you the police will deal decisively with those people. And I think their cowards, they cannot come. They cannot come because if you see the way we are prepared, the high level of preparation towards, I've told people that our eyes are red. I met even the political parties, that was yesterday, and I told them that you, the politicians, you bought the Black Maria for us. The Black Maria is the prison on wheels. And then if you don't talk to your people very well, they come to misbehave, we'll put them in the Black Marias. We will not wait a second for somebody to misconduct himself or herself before we ask that they should arrest. We are going to deal with it decisively.
Right, so that was the IGP addressing the leadership of GJA. So we can be rest assured that these elections will definitely go well. And like I said, if you come with clean heart and hands, you go scot-free.
Exactly.
And I also want to add up with some collaboration between the Ghana Police and the Commission, Small Arms Commission, because they declared that they stated that they are not going to allow, guns and other stuff at the the election grounds.
Right.
And I think that some of these things, it shouldn't be limited to only Akwatia. In order to seize, these firearms that we are all been fighting for, that people are misusing and mishandling them, I think it is high time they collaborate with the police to go to various regions and there was, they conducted a search prior to this election, and they were able to retrieve 9 guns. So I'm sure that when they extend this activity to other regions, they will be able to retrieve all guns and all that, if not all, at least the majority of them, to ensure that we live safely in this country. So I commend the Ghana Police Service and the Commission for that collaboration, and I hope to see more of that.
All right. So quickly, before we go into our online story, I think, Clement, you have one more?
Yes, I have another story. Yeah, last Tuesday, we were talking about rage assault. It was trending. That was what is going on. Yesterday, the reports of the committee was out. I think the producer had the video, and they will play that video so that we will speak to that. Because the story has taken a different shape and form, of which I think we need to look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do we have the video, please? Let's take a look at the video quickly. All right, so the video is not ready, so you would have to give us the updates briefly, and then we go quickly into the others.
So, Yara, one, per the committee findings, they said that the nurse who was reported to have issues with her health, beaten extensively, per the police findings, the report findings, she was not. She was not. And people are asking a question that if that was the issue, then what did we see in the video? Is it a purported agenda? And people are even asking the question that where is the video that shows that the men were beating her? Because all the videos we've seen was when she was being bandaged and when she was talking and when the guy was. So people are asking the question, where is that video? Because if we have CCTV all over the place, we should be able to get the part where we could see that the guy or the guys were assaulting the woman. But that part was not seen. So people are raising a lot of concern. And this report also coming out as like putting a lot of issues out there. They also talk about the aspect of security, and they said that yes, indeed, security needs to be beefed up in the various hospitals that we have in Ghana. Aside security, they also talk about the issue of staffing, and they said that staffing is really a problem because they went to the emergency units because of staffing. That's when issues like this pop up. So if they had resolved the issue of staffing, this issue wouldn't have even popped up in the first place. So these are the issues actually popping up, Yara.
All right. I think we would have to come back to this issue because we have to speak to the head of public relations from the Ghana National Fire Service relating to the Swami fire. So let's get into that story. So right after this story, then we come back to the assault and then we get more videos and then speak to it better. So fire ravages Swami Post Office Market, over 300 shops destroyed after gas cylinder explosions. A devastating fire broke out at Swami Post Office Market in the Ashanti region around 11 p.m. on Tuesday, August 26, 2025, destroying over 300 shops after more than 30 gas cylinders exploded and intensified the blaze. Now, while the cause of the fire is still unknown, victims could only watch as their shops and goods were consumed, with some residents forcing open nearby shops to salvage items. The traders and residents left in shock have criticized the Ghana National Fire Service for what they described as a delayed response. Now, we're going to be speaking with Desmond Aka, who is the Divisional Officer Grade 2 and the head of public relations at the Ghana National Fire Service, and we're going to, ask a few questions, find out what exactly the Ghana National Fire Service has to say about this. Hello, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I hope you're well.
By God's grace, we are doing very well.
Right. So, quickly into the fire issue, can you give us a brief overview of what happened exactly?
Right. Let me say a very good morning to your cherished viewers. It was quite unfortunate that that is 2 days ago, around 11 p.m., where we heard of this unfortunate fire, and we had to lose close to 200 sheds and then 22 commercial shops in that particular enclave. But let me first of all kind of extend some gratitude to our firefighters who risked it all to kind of prevent a more catastrophic devastation as seen in the video footages that is shown on your screen. They actually responded swiftly, as is being turned out in the section of the media that we responded late. That is not true. Because per the eyewitnesses account, the fire started around 11 p.m. and it took them over 40 minutes to reach out to us. But we received the call at exactly 11:46, and by 12:05 we were there. So it took us less than 10 minutes or 11 minutes or so to get to the fire scene. So, in fact, when we got there, because of the delayed call-out and call placement, the fire had already gotten out of hand. And that market is an old market. the structures are closely knit to each other. You know, for a place like that, illegal wiring is so rife. And apparently, we are also gathering that some of the shops, which were originally meant to be used as sheds, have been leased to these mechanics or retailers who deal in spare parts and all that. So they have converted some of these sheds and shops into their warehouses where they put car spare parts. And you know, these things are highly combustible. So when the fire swept through the enclave, it was very difficult for us to even gain access. And some of the eyewitnesses were saying that there was an outage of electricity power in that area. And shortly after it being restored, there was a spark seen on one particular electricity pole. And that spark generated into the fire that we are seeing. But I cannot, as at this time, say that that is the cause of the fire. Throughout the day to about 6 p.m., our investigators were there trying to dig and then to uncover what actually led to the fire. So the cause of fire is still under investigation. Thankfully, nobody got injured or got or died through this particular fire. But one other thing that was so striking was that there wasn't any functional fire hydrant within that space. So we had to travel over 10 kilometers to Bremen and Konum to be replenishing our tenders, even though we mobilized for fire appliances. That actually helped us to salvage a 5-bedroom apartment and one 2-story building, including some 19 commercial shops. And that is what I initially commended our men for doing such a fantastic job. But I also thank the government for also coming in to declare that the place must not be reconstructed. I think they would make adequate provisions to convert that makeshift market into a modernized one, where the assurance has been given to the traders that nobody is going to lose his or her space, so that it helps in ensuring that adequate fire safety measures are put in place. There is enough exits, enough alleys, provision of fire hydrants is catered for, so that in case there's any fire, we wouldn't struggle as we struggled yesterday.
Right. So you mentioned that there is a likelihood that there was some sort of illegal wiring and all that. And then also the story says that some gas cylinders also exploded. So are these likely to be part of what we could speculate as some likely causes?
Well, you see, it is early days yet, and we are not leaving anything to chance. You know, in a fire situation, anything at all is possible. Sometimes, even if they want to mislead you, they start throwing these things into the atmosphere or into the space so that you could be diverted and all that. So we are still investigating. I mean, we are not ruling out deliberate acts. We are not ruling out unattended cooking. We are also not ruling out electrical fault that could have stemmed from maybe a short circuit, overloading, or any other electrical fault issue. So it is early days yet. But you see, what actually spread the fire was how close these structures makes it, especially the sheds, because we lost about 192 of them. They were closely knit together. Yeah. And then, you know, these are spare parts plus foodstuffs. And you know, people have converted these spaces into their residential abode. They live there, they sleep there, they cook there. That is how come we experience a lot of gas cylinder explosion. And those things aided in a fast or rapid spread of the fire. That is how come within that space. Look at the space that we are seeing on your screen. I mean, the fire just swept because we found it very difficult to even access the seat of the fire just to contain it. So yesterday, tactically, we were very, very much on top of our game. Other than that, we could have lost all the adjoining structures which were unaffected in that state. So we are pleading with the city authority. Anytime they are backing on some of these projects, they should have very much evolved us so that the needed safety protocols will be put in place. But this market is very old, and we are not surprised of the devastation that we encountered for the past 2 days or so.
All right. My colleague Clement also has a question or two for you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As you said, you're yet to know the cause of this very incident, but over the years, we know gas explosion has contributed to most of this fire outbreak in the marketplaces. And what is Ghana National Fire Service intend to do, especially relating to the gas which contribute to massive fire outbreak?
Well, very early in this year, when we started experiencing this incessant market fire, the strategy was to liaise with the market managers, train the market folks, engage them, prep them on basic fire safety measures to be kept in such spaces. And on top of that, we've also been intensifying our market night patrols, which commences from 6 p.m. to the next morning. And that has actually helped us in nibbling or in kind of controlling the extent of market fires in recent times. So we are going to continue with that. But where we have the challenge is the mixed market, not the modern one. The modern ones, the basic safety protocols are put in place. It is just the makeshift ones, which are predominantly made up of wooden structures, some thatch, and other combustible materials, where they are closely knit. There are virtually no space where even bicycle can even traverse through and all that. So not until these makeshift markets are converted to the modern ones, I'm afraid we are not going to stop experiencing fires in such spaces. And anytime fires occur in such spaces, because of the prevailing conditions, the devastation is going to be more. That is why we are happy, as earlier indicated, that through the Ashanti Regional Minister, government has stepped in. I think they provided some amount of money, some relief items to the affected traders, and even cautioned them that they should not start with the reconstruction until the government gets the contractor and then they put up or convert the place to a modernized market where all the safety considerations are going to be taken care of. So we want to assure the general public that we are not sleeping on the job. Our market and patrols continues unabated. Our engagement with the traders to prep them up on the basic fire safety protocols, because very soon we are going to also enforce our laws, because before you enforce any law, and you know the ignorance and the illiteracy rate, you need to be able to do education. That is why we've taken it upon ourselves to intensify education across the length and breadth of this country, so that when we are enforcing our laws, no Abushan will come with a cloth that, oh, this is my ofate or my nephew or so spare him or her. No, we are not going to accept that. That is why for this period, we are making do with the education, the engagement, and then conscientizing them that ensuring their words and their property, giving the ultimate safety, is their sole responsibility. So we want to be able to do that effectively before we start with the enforcement, so that we will not have any backlash or any back and forth with the people.
Right. Thank you so much. So you said that they are going to try to get the people not to, rebuild the markets and try to make it a more modern one. But from the previous case of Makola, yes, isn't there a likelihood that the people may start to rebuild almost immediately, because this is mostly a source of livelihood for a lot of people?
Well, this directive came from the regional minister, and I believe that the people are going to ensure that they abide by what government has said. Because if they go ahead and build a place with the same old fashioned construction, then they should have themselves to blame if there is any fire and we are unable to save their work. So I believe that they wouldn't want to go through this same ordeal if they should defy the orders of the government representative of that region to do what is unlawful. So I believe that they will do the needful by ensuring that they exercise patience for the right things to be done, so that all the safety considerations will be put in place in order to avert the same thing occur in the near future.
Right. Thank you so much. I mean, my next question is more about the public response, and it's seemingly even in the story that they said you didn't respond, on time, but you clarify that. But on a larger scale, how does the Ghana National Fire Service intend to address such, information going about that you didn't get there early enough?
Well, I think we all have a responsibility, and I want to always appreciate Clock TV for giving us the opportunity to be explaining some of these things. I believe the best way to go with this is constant education. It appears that in as much as we have tried over the period to conscientize them on the fact that we have proximity issues and we don't have any technology as of now to be able to detect fires automatically and respond to them. These are some of the nuances that are associated. So we would want to still urge the public that they should also do a lot more advocacy to their MPs, to their MMD, CEs, so that they give some budgetary allocation. They prioritize setting up fire stations closer to our communities. Because if you look at this particular place which was gutted, the nearest fire station was Bremen, and it took them 11 minutes, from where Bremen is to Swami. It is not a straight course. Okay. Bremen would have to manage to get into the main road and then move. And that is about 12, 13 kilometers. And even that, because they moved in an emergency situation, they got there within 11 minutes. So assuming we had a fire station around Swami area, that would have moved in much quickly and would have probably saved some of the worst from the devastation that we saw. So, in as much as we want to intensify and prep the ordinary Ghanaian on some of these issues, I think ultimately the government, the assemblies would have to establish more fire stations closer to our communities, so that at any point in time, the travel distance will be minimal. And then also we are working, management is also working with some IT firms so that we can also come up with some technology, mount some cameras all over, so that at least those cameras will be able to pick these fires, especially at the incipient stages, and then that would also help us to initiate response even before we receive the call, so that the delays that are associated with discovering fires and reporting them to us would be minimized. But until then, we will continue to educate them. And we expect that Ghanaians would also respond positively by changing their attitudes and prioritizing their personal safety and ensuring that the basic fire safety protocols are ensured on their facilities so as to prevent some of these fires from happening.
All right. Thank you so much for shedding some light on this issue, and we hope that the people who have lost their property at Swami and the related areas will be duly compensated. And we hope that you have a good day as well. Thank you so much.
Grateful.
Right. Yes, gentlemen.
I think before we go to the next, a little bit on this issue, he rightly stated the regional minister presented some cash on behalf of the president, that is 100,000 Ghana cedis, to the victims affected of this fire outbreak. And also listen to the MC, Honorable Frank, who also said that he has directed the NADMO and the Assembly to present or work on relief items for victims who have been affected by this fire outbreak. And Yaira, let's say it right here that we shouldn't. Yes, we know that life. That is our livelihood. That is what we go for daily.
Yeah.
But let's exercise some patience, because that is one of my major concerns, that it has happened today. If the right measures are not put in place so that we have a better market tomorrow and we go about the old way of doing things, as the PRO said, it still come again. And when it comes again, it becomes a burden on the government and on Ghana National Fire Service and NADMO as well.
Yeah.
So we believe that let's all adhere to what the government is saying. Let's look at the time frame they are going to give to victims, and let's see the question is, now that you want them to stay home, what is the alternative
Yes,
given to them?
that is something I also very...
What is the alternative? Are you going to give them a temporary place for them to still do their business whilst you look extensively into the market structure, or you're going to give them something doing, or they're just going to be in the house? So these are all the angles that government need to look at before taking that step of they staying home automatically.
Right.
So that was a brilliant submission by the officer. But I also want to add up to that. It is high time we adopt office protocols. The marketplace, we should adopt the office protocols. I mean, we know that over the years, the causes of these fire outbreaks as a result of, like you clearly said, sometimes cylinder leakages, faulty electricals and all of that. So I think when we adopt the office protocol, by which, I mean, nobody goes to the office with a rice cooker or something to go and prepare food or that. And most of these market, like the officer rightly said, some others are like the old ones, and so we have wooden structures. It's not like the modern ones. Even with the modern ones, we can equally have issues like this when there are faulty electrical stuff. So I think that going forward, these market women and men should treat the marketplace like their offices. I mean, it's their office. That's where they get their daily bread and all that, so that some of these things will not happen. And also going forward, I think there should be segmentation of the markets so that we can group them into manageable ones, that we get leaders and tax them. That you have to ensure that things that cause fires are not, being done in places or in your groups. And also, I would like the Ghana National Fire Service to also conduct, daily routine checks in the various the various markets to ensure that these people adhere to the, safety protocols. Because
I think
he also mentioned that some of the people even live there, so they end up cooking there and things. And another thing we should also look, I'm not advocating for them or anything of the sort, but we have been in this country, all our lives, and we've seen projects that could probably take a certain amount of time, and the time is probably even doubled or tripled due to one or two logistical reasons or even financial. And this is a market. This is a source of livelihood for people. We were here when even Makola's issue occurred, and then there were talks about, restructuring the place, making it into a more modern market. And we already saw people starting to rebuild. Now, my point or my question or problem is that how long is it going to take to remodel this market for the people to resume work? Because, as we said, this is a source of livelihood for them. And is there even an alternative that, okay, if you take them, like you mentioned, if they have a more temporary place now to, try to regroup and, start selling again, is the restructuring going to happen in ample time to give them the chance to be able to focus on the temporary shed or whatever they are given to, make their sales before it gets there? Or we're going to hear that, in 3 months we'll fix everything, and then a year passes and not much is being done. We will end up seeing them putting back these structures up because this is all they know, this is all they have. So what's going to happen there?
So I think let's wait for government directive.
Right.
It
so
just
even with that,
and
I think
the minister just got a statement yesterday. So let's hope to see the ones that will come.
And even with that, this even draws my attention to Makola again. What is happening now? I think we need to try and get an update, because after the fire outbreak, fire service, we had the conversation here and everything. What's next? We haven't heard much. Or maybe there hasn't been a lot of news or that. So I think maybe our management might try to do something. Now we have a comment. This one says, "Good morning, Miss Awuno. Your Ghana National Fire Service guest kept saying if they had several times in his submission. What are the other stakeholders doing? Town and council planning, public market managers, taxes." This is from... Your question is as good as ours here. We are hoping to see more from them and, hear more from them, more proactive, suggestions and submissions. So, yes, back to
the rich assault. Rich assault. I think the videos that let's get the video so that we get what the person really said, so that we could speak to that matter as it is. Because if the if it is not put in the right context, it will make the issue trend another way. So if the video is read, I think it's best for viewers to know.
Right. So can we take a look at the video, please?
Reported her injury to the hospital the day after the incident. That's on the 18th, and was further treated. There was no evidence of fracture on her left wrist or dislocation of her right shoulder, joint as documented by the medical records. She was, however, had been treated at the time we visited. Had been given some pain relief. He was been recommended for a bed rest and also has received psychological support care.
We have done this because we assure the good people of this country that when the committee completes its work, we'll make the findings of the committee available to the public. At this point, we have done that, and I can assure the public that we'll see to the full implementation of the recommendations. And I can hear far-reaching recommendations even going beyond Rich Hospital. The next phase of the implementation of the recommendations, for me, is the most important stage. And so I can assure you that not only are we going to see to it that Rich takes back its glory, but we'll make sure that whatever work you have done will also have positive impact on the rest of the health facilities we have in this country.
Right. So we just watched the video, and I have a question. The nurse was treated and everything, and there were medical records, but it seems she was re-examined, and now findings are in a way contradicting the medical records. And I want to ask, is that ethical? Because if you come, Yara has malaria, but you decide to still check if I truly have malaria, is that not sending a kind of message?
Yara, can I come in?
Yes, please.
A committee has been set for a particular task. Whenever a committee is set, they do their own findings.
Okay.
We don't go there and say that because Yara is with blue pen, let's accept it's blue. What if the cover is blue, but the ink inside is red? How would we know? So we need to test it. We need to be sure that it's really blue. That is what the committee is doing. They are not trying to, what should I say? I don't know the word, but they are not trying to put aside whatever thing you did earlier. It is a committee finders. And we all know when they are doing their own finders, they go even behind whatever you've done. When it comes to auditing, they will not just come to the accountant and say, because you wrote 100 Ghana cedis, we accept this 100 Ghana cedis. No,
okay.
We do finders. That's why the committee was there.
Okay.
So at that point, that is why they were there.
Okay. So this is not to invalidate the medical records,
Exactly.
but rather probe deeper. Okay.
Sure.
So me and the faction of Ghanaians who didn't understand, we've understood. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and this is very sad. I mean, as a health professional, integrity is non-negotiable. Yes. Once, let me take us back. Let me give a brief history. This Rich Hospital actually has a rich history. It dates back to the 20th century. And then this hospital was initially built around 1928, which was meant for European expatriates. And as time goes on, we had some re-innovation, rebuilding and all that to meet the growing demand of the population. And now it's sad that, today we are here talking about our own flagship hospital, a hospital we boast about, a hospital that major referrals, come there. And then, see, it's sad. Right now, it is not about the social activists and the nurse again. It is about the state of our hospital. Per the recommendation, the findings, they said that at that time, we had only one, doctor, one security guard there, and then one doctor. And then, it's a whole lot with so many diagnostic machines not functioning. Imagine you sending your relative to the hospital and to only be told that the scanners are not working, MRI machines are not working and all that. It's very sad. Some of these things can actually call for what transpired, the provocations, the assault, and all that. I'm not saying that, what the gentleman did was right. Now that it has been clarified that there was no bone dislocation and all that, the integrity of the hospital is at stake. Right now, it has eroded the confidence of the general public. This is a hospital we are talking about here, and not just any hospital, Ridge Hospital, one of the biggest hospitals we have here.
I think I want to comment a bit. I think Peter, I stand to be corrected, but attacking the hospital as it's being at stake is my concern, because the issue here is about the nurse who was reported that she had some dislocation and all this kind of thing. So, giving it the whole hospital in perspective, that is the point I don't really get it.
I mean, coming to that,
okay,
you understand. So, if in the hospital, it is the responsibility with every institution. We have ethical, responsibility and all that. And so, if one person decides to do, the question should be, what motivated her to actually came out with that report?
So I think we should look at who are behind all these things rather than picking the Ridge Hospital in general, because Ridge Hospital, as we know, is one of the best hospitals that we have in this country, and we can't put that entire hospital in this country. So let's look at, and even not the entire, it was just the emergency department or just the emergency unit, of which we have other departments and units who are functioning better. So I think let's look at those involved in this act. I think that should be the next action.
Yes, but
and the minister said, and the minister said that the implementation now is a problem. Findings are now out. Report is now out. What is the next step of action? So let's really go into details. Is it that people, as I said, people were asking for the footages that shows that the RAF and his team were actually assaulting the nurse. But that footage was never out.
Yeah, but you see, Peter is coming from the perspective of the fact that as much as, yes, it's the emergency ward or emergency room and it's just one nurse, she is affiliated to an organization. Now, let me even give a more obvious example. The military regime that was late to President Rawlings, all of the bad things that happened under that, people only say Rawlings, 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 even though these were individual soldiers that probably were doing things most of the time he was not even aware of. It was always associated with him. So I think that's where he's coming from, that even here at Clock TV now, if Peter was found with Ralph, part of the goons, right, when he's identified as one of them, it's going to affect the image of Clock TV. That's why is a Clock TV host also, trying to cause some sort of aggression and violence in a hospital? It is no longer going to be about just Peter alone. It will also affect Clock TV. So that's where he is coming from, that in this whole issue, the image of Ridge Hospital could be affected. Because I think even on Tuesday, I was asking counsel, Lawyer Librex, that is it going to affect the image of the hospital? And I think one of his responses was about the fact that if the hospital also gets, I think I asked something about getting sued and things like that, because it is very likely that the image of Ridge Hospital could come up that way. Because now, when we even talk about the assault, we name it Ridge Assault. We don't look for the nurse's name. It's after the issue is being talked about before we find even the name of the nurse, right? It's always a Ridge Assault. So even from there, Ridge is involved.
Yes, I understand.
Though it comes down to a very minute part of the hospital, in the end, it's still a part of the hospital.
Even let me even put it this way: as a parent, if your ward go out there to, let's say, misbehave or something, you, the parent, is questioned.
Yeah,
you are supposed to ensure that you're not. Now, when it comes to like health profession, integrity is very paramount. You can't do away with it. And what happened there, I'm condemning it. It's not fine. But then, away from that, we can also say that last time we were talking about the fact that we lack some,
equipment and stuff,
and all that. And this report clearly stated it. A hospital like Ridge, with 40, it's very bad.
Yeah.
So, in as much as it is, it is condemnable, this issue has also raised another,
set of
aspect
issues
of it.
And then also you realize that, like I was asking, that why did the medical records now seem to be contradicting what the report findings were.
Exactly.
Now it comes back to Ridge Hospital again, that how come medical records are stating this so and so? Now a bigger institution or a committee, has come to do some research, and they're finding out that what you put in the medical records is not exactly accurate, allegedly, just in case, This now reflects on Ridge Hospital that, if they are doing this, is this the first time? It will start raising questions. And again, we come back to the image of the whole hospital then, you see, because yes, it seems that the nurse suffered some distress, but now it is looking as though, it is looking like it was made to look maybe bigger than it actually was for a reason, because the way he behaved definitely was unsavory. It is not something that should be even allowed. He should also face some punitive measures, because he definitely caused some distress to other patients and people that were seeking medical care. But then, this is what's happening at the moment.
So, you see, apart from putting the hospital in context, what about her colleague doctors and nurses? I mean, we can't dispute the fact that in Ghana and even in the part of the world, nurses, face assault and all of that.
Right.
Now, it will be very difficult for Ghanaians to believe should another case happen because of this. And so this will go a long way to affect, medical health professionals, the hospital itself, and Ghana at large. This is a major hospital we are talking about.
And then there's also a possibility that because of the findings and the potential damage it can cause to the hospital, the nurse in question may have to be transferred somewhere else. It's possible.
Yes. So I think, as the minister said, they are yet to look into the report to know the necessary things they would do. So I believe all these things would really come up. I would agree when you put Ridge as a whole in the context. At that point, I would agree. But at that point, people are saying that, Ridge is doing very well. Yes, we know. But as you said, when one nut gets pot, it affects the whole soup.
Now, we have a comment again from Joe. He said, from the committee's report, it has cast doubt on the earlier purported injury of the nurse. However, the medical doctor's report never said fracture, but pain, swells, and minor dislocation, which X-ray will not find that when immediate treatment is done. And more so, the doctor in question wasn't interrogated, although the nurse exaggerated. Please, don't cost me my job.
I mean, this is serious.
So you see, like as Peter said, when you look at the news, it said all imaging equipment, X-ray, CT scan, and MRI at Ridge Hospital Images Department non-functional.
Wow.
They are non-functional. So forcing
sad.
tests to be conducted outside the hospital. That's from the committee. So all the tests they did it outside the hospital.
Yeah. Now, this story, if we decide to talk, we'll be here the whole day. And we have to discuss the dam spillage, the Bagri Dam spillage that is coming from Burkina Faso. And we have the director of the inspectorate at NADMO, Mr. Amoyate, on the line. So we're going to be asking a few questions to find out what is happening. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, Club TV. Good morning.
Okay, could you please speak up a bit?
Good morning to you and all your viewers.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So can you give us a brief overview of the Bagri Dam spillage? We heard that the spillage started earlier than they actually communicated. So what's going on there?
Yeah, let me say a very big good morning to my Director General and all the NADMO staff who are working very hard in the northern part of Ghana to mitigate any possibility of flooding in the northern sector of Ghana. As I speak to you now, I have joined the team in the northern Ghana to deal with the situation.
Okay.
Yeah, the dam was originally planned to spill on the 27th, but due to more inflows into the reservoirs than expected, the discharge date was brought forward to 26th. And over a month ago, when NADMO started communicating with Water Resource Commission and SONABA, the managers of the Bagri Dam, we started preparation on the ground to ensure that the flow will not have any negative impact on our country. We sensitized communities along the basin, which identified safe havens, developed evacuation routes and plans to deal with any possible evacuations that may occur. So NADMO has been on the ground from the day we started communicating with Sonabel and the Water Resources Commission on the possible spillage. And so on the 25th, before they spilled, NADMO was already on the ground, and then we sent a team from the headquarters to support the regional team, what the regional teams were doing. So I would say that some of the actions we took, apart from sensitizing, identify safe havens, was also encouraging the farmers to do early harvesting. You know, most of these farmers have been farming along the basin for a very long time, so they have a program, planting early and harvesting early, so that the dam flows or the floods in northern Ghana does not disturb them. But in the unlikely event that some farmers are unable to harvest earlier than planned, then you have a few farmers being affected by the flow. But as I speak to you now, the spill, or the discharges from the dam are not enough to cause any harm to the farming community and communities. But meanwhile, it is also been raining, and it rained heavily on Monday and then Tuesday evening. And then they have all added the situation. But what is being discharged from the Bakri Dam is under control.
Okay. So what immediate relief measures is NADMO providing to the communities that may be affected, and how are you also ensuring the safety of these residents, the ones that may be displaced?
Like I said, we have identified safe havens and evacuation routes.
Okay.
NADMO is working with its collaborating agencies in this region. We have the Ghana Armed Forces, Police, Ghana National Fire Service, National Ambulance, all working together to ensure the safety of people who may be affected through the flow, should the white water overflow in banks and then enter the community. So we have been on the ground, and then we are working to ensure that flood risk is mitigated.
All right. I think Clement also has questions for you.
Yeah. So okay, so we know this dam spillage. It's annual. It's something that happens every year. So is NADMO having a bigger plan how we could just solve this issue once and for all, so that not we waiting for the August period before we start putting measures in place? Is there a bigger plan from NADMO to tackle this dam spillage once and for all?
The dam spills are a very necessary part of managing the dam itself. Because if you don't spill, the integrity of the dam is compromised. And again, communities upstream will also be inundated with flood water. So dam spilling is a necessary part of flood control. But, you know, we all work according to our legal mandates, our authorities. And that part of your question does not fall on the NADMO's authority in terms of controlling the flow. But what we can do is to prepare citizens and ensure that they know what to do to make their lives safe whenever there's flooding in those communities. But as to the long-term solution, it lies with other people have proposed engineering solutions. People have talked about the Pualugu Dam. But like I said, those things lie with other authorities to manage. We are focused on our mandate and we are delivering at that.
Okay, so please, is there any schools and community center that has been, let's say, eyed for displaced people?
Like I said, savings have been. Hello.
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Yeah, can you come again? Come again with your question.
Yeah, so please, I'm asking that we know over the years NADMO just go for the community centers or schools, whereby when displaced people who have been affected can be there for the meantime. And I'm asking that this time around too, was that measure put in place?
It's one of the first things I said. We identified safe areas so that when the need for evacuations, we have also identified to take these persons and shelter them at sector. We have identified all those places.
Okay. So before my last question, those places identified, are we having the necessary protocols and the psychological support for victims if they are sent to those places?
Yeah, like I said, we put all in place all the measures.
Okay.
Which were activated as and when necessary. So all the measures are in place. The safe havens have been identified, evacuation routes have been identified, what resources might be needed to support persons who will be displaced have been stockpiled, and then we are ready.
Right. Thank you so much. So my last question now would be, do you have any public awareness campaigns that you embark upon, likely before the dam spillage season?
It's been ongoing. I said over a month ago we started it.
Okay.
So the radio stations, the TV stations in Northern Ghana, and communities one-on-one sensitization programs, meeting opinion leaders, chiefs, and youth and women's groups have been ongoing for over a month. So we believe that flood risk will be largely mitigated should that occur.
So how has the response also been? Do the people seem to be, taking up what you tell them and trying to find ways and means to also help themselves?
Yeah, the good thing is that those farmers who farm close to the water bodies, what they have there are only farmhouses, and they all have their homes that they go to when they are not farming. So it's just farmhouses. That's why sometimes we encourage them to do early harvest so that those who have family homes can move to, those who have to move to the city will also move to. So all these arrangements are in place.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for shedding some light on this. And we hope to hear from you one of these days in the studio. Please do have a good day.
Thank you.
Clemens, you were talking about a bigger plan, and I think my engineering spirit has come. I think I even mentioned this sometime on the show. I think that, I don't know, maybe the government can put something together where this water that is spilled, there are so many parts of the nation that water is an issue. Access to potable water is an issue. So why not probably do these very, very big pipes and then channel these waters into big reservoirs that people can actually go and be fetching? And this, because look at the amount of water that is going to be spilled. It's not only the Bagri Dam, the other dams in the nation, the Akosombo Dam, I think the Bui Dam and some others. If we have these reservoirs and things like that, these amounts of water that will be stored there could be used for irrigation and things like that for the people.
So you're right. That is when he was talking, mentioned of the Palugu Dam. That is what people are now calling for. Because this Bagri Dam spillage is not done in Ghana.
It's from Burkina Faso, and it's coming all the way.
It's coming all the way through to Ghana. So people are calling that, why don't we just work on the Palugu Dam so that when this water is being spilled, then the Palugu Dam could preserve, keep it for some time, then it flows. I think maybe in the course of we'll be speaking with the Center for Climate Change and Food Security. They will give us more.
That would be later in the show.
Yes, input in this very matter we are talking about.
Okay, so we have comments similarly on the ridge issue, and this one ArcGH says, rotational nurse, she never did payroll yet. Then D&J Venture says, rotational nurse, LOL, meaning she's not even permanent. Then John Boateng says she will apologize very soon. And good morning, Koko Digest team. That's from John Boateng again. Then TA says, I am yet to see a media house quoting the actual facts, which is in quote, there was no delay as claimed by Ralph on which the nurse was attacked. I'm not very sure how clear this message is. The report didn't say there was no injury or assault. Injury and fracture and dislocation are all not the same. D&J Ventures again says, Maminas, hurry up before it's too late, because the abort go work soon and you go buy or something. Then ABK TV Ghana says, good morning, Koko Digest show, morning show. And it says, and has the vim to go to court. So I think this is in relation to the nurse. Well, we are wrapping up here.
There was one, the education story, BC. You see, last week we talked, Tuesday we talked about it. And yesterday there was a press briefing. there was a press briefing on that. So I think we have even a video on that as well about school placement.
Right. So I think we'll be talking about that later in the show. So we'll take a look at that. For now, the online print review time is up, and I'd like to take your last words, just 30 seconds each. Yes, Peter has been quiet for a while. So.
Okay, so about the dam spillage. So I have been thinking that we should look at a bigger plan. You know, every year the amount we spend to provide, you know, food and other things for these displaced people. I'm thinking that if we try to help to relocate these people, to relocate them so that anytime the dam spillage happens, maybe it will just affect maybe some farmlands. And then if there is timely communication that, oh, this time, this is what is going to happen, the farmers will be aware and know when and how to, you know, go about their crops and all of that. And so I'm thinking that they should also look at a bigger plan to try to. I know it is going to be a big issue. They should
come to me for engineering advice. I'll give them reservoir.
But then when they take measures in place and look at the bigger picture and see the cost, I mean, people die and a whole lot.
Yeah, and like you even mentioned, the farmlands. Yeah. This is also somebody's farm, source of livelihood. It's going to be flooded for an amount of time. What's going to happen? But the time is up. Kevin.
Aaron, I think, as you said, we talk about it in the main discussion, so I'll just leave everything here. Right. But I just want to say happy glorious birthday to my special father, Apostle Rudi Da, Daniel Mankwabo, and my glorious birthday to him wherever he is. God bless him so much.
A happy birthday to the pastor. Thank you so much. Up next is the lifestyle segment, and they're going to be talking about volunteerism and its impact on the foundations or the non-governmental organizations. So yes, if you are looking to be a volunteer, or sometimes you are just not motivated to be a volunteer, this conversation is very, very important. So you get to learn what it's all about and how to become one. So let's do stay tuned. You are welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. I hope you've been, learning from our previous segment. I mean, this is still the Koko Digest Morning Show. We are ending the month in a grand style, and Black Sharif says dreamer. Of course, we are all dreaming to be volunteers as to help impact our communities and the country as a whole. Today, we will be talking about a very important topic that has to affect all aspects of our lives. I'm talking about volunteering and looking at its impact on foundations. And speaking on foundations, we have a guest here with us who owns a foundation. But before the foundation, she was into volunteerism, and she's going to share with us her journey in volunteering and also, give us some one or two advice as to how to get ourselves involved it so that it can impact any foundation at all we work on. And so we are reminding you that this is the Koko Digest Morning Show, streaming live on Facebook and also YouTube as well. You can get interactive with us via those streaming platforms and also send us a text on our WhatsApp number displayed on your screen right now. Once again, I am Miriam Abna Adede. I have with me adorable Rosie. I hope I got the name right.
Yes.
Adorable Rosie.
Yes.
Have you had Koko this morning?
No.
Why? You woke up very early because of this interview, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So yeah, I know you own a foundation. Let's start with understanding how the foundation started, and then we'll look at the volunteerism aspect. And so, what is your foundation about? What do you do? What inspired you to create a foundation?
Okay, so my foundation is all about supporting women and girls. So we are more focused on schools and then hospitals because we want to impact in the life of young girls and then young women. Yeah.
I see. And you have been doing this for how many years?
3 years now.
3 years?
Yeah.
So can you tell us some of the communities you have impacted in Ghana, outside Ghana?
Well, so for now, I think we donated to Kwabenya Community Senior High School. That was in 2023. And last year, we donated to Abokobi Health Center, the maternity unit. And this year, we donated to a school again in the Volta region. Yeah, so we donate sanitary pads and then other items for from our volunteers.
Okay. So when we talk about volunteerism, it means you are just doing something out of your will to support community.
Exactly.
But why do you think it is important that a young girl like you get yourself into such an act, giving back to the society? Why do you think it's important?
Okay, so for me, nothing actually inspired me. It's something I just want to do freely and willingly. I just want to support my fellow young girls and then young women who are less privileged. Yeah, let me put it that way. They're less privileged, so we donate sanitary pads and then sometimes we donate baby diapers to those in the maternity unit just to support them.
Just to support them. Yeah. That is the aim of your foundation,
exactly.
Right?
I just want to give.
Okay. I want to also understand, I'm a young girl like you, but you are doing something unique I am not doing. You are giving to the society out of your own will. I want to know how important that is for you so that I can also learn. How is it benefiting to your growth, professional growth, physically, mentally, emotionally? How is it contributing to your growth?
Okay, so for this, me giving out to back to the society. A lot of brands partner with me. So I think me giving out, it has helped me in a way that brands recognize me, and then
So brands are able to recognize you. And also, let's look at your foundation.
how has it also impacted your foundation? Has it given you the numbers? Has it given you, you know, social media, you know, visibility? Has it done something unique for your
yeah,
brand?
it has given me the numbers and then a lot of sponsorships. Yeah, people see what I'm trying to do out there, and then they reach out to me. How can I support? How can I help? And then, so this year's donation was really, really massive because we've had a great sponsorship from 1 or 2 brands, and then it was really massive.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I know you don't work alone, right?
Yeah, I don't work alone.
With your foundation,
Yeah.
you have people you work with.
Yeah.
But before selecting these people, you had, you know, qualities you were looking out for before, you know, selecting them to come and join you.
Okay.
Can you walk us through some of the qualities you look out for, you know, in a volunteer? What can you see in someone that says, this person can willingly support, you know, the society?
Okay, so for the foundation, I personally didn't select. People actually reach out to me and then they'll be like, I want to join your foundation team. I want to join your foundation team. And then when I take a good look at them, if maybe I see the qualities I'm looking for in them and then I'm okay with it, I just, yeah.
So what qualities are you looking out for when you, can I just mention a few? Because for me, I think I'll be looking for someone who can work hard, someone who can go out of their way to support, you know, someone who is disciplined.
Yeah.
Do you look out for these things?
Oh yeah, I do.
And so the people you work with, they all have these qualities?
Oh yeah, they have those qualities.
And is it helping? Do you see any improvement?
Yeah, it's indeed helping. It's helping a lot, in a lot of ways.
Okay, so in what ways? I'm very interested. I want to set up a foundation, so I want to learn.
Okay, so for my team members, sometimes they don't just allow me to do everything. They also want to contribute. Do you understand? You know, for some other people, they wouldn't want to contribute to anything, but for my team members, even if they have something doing and then I call them, we have to be at this place, they will leave whatever they are doing just to, you know,
be there. And in doing so, have you seen any transformation in their lives as well?
Oh, yes.
Like,
I've seen transformations in their lives as well, because as they are also helping me, other people are also recognizing them, other institutions are also recognizing them, and then they are partnering with them as well too. Yeah.
And so they're also getting the recognition they need.
Exactly.
It will be very interesting working with you, I mean. But you don't pay them. You don't give them anything. Or
sometimes it depends. It depends, yeah. So sometimes I pay them.
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes. So on days that you don't pay them, do you get any feedback from them like,
okay, so
you are
if
cheating
like
them or something?
No, if like let's say today I'm not paying them, then maybe I would be giving them some products. I'll be giving them some items to take home. I wouldn't just allow them to go just like that. Yeah.
So in your 3 years of, you know, running this foundation with volunteers, what has been your biggest challenge faced as a foundation owner who is into volunteerism?
Okay, so it's the creating of awareness. When I started this foundation, putting the work that we are doing out there for people to reach out to us, and then let me just say for sponsorships, it was really, really difficult. It was really, really difficult. You know, today we have a lot of foundation owners. Some, they are not there to really support people as they say. Sometimes you give them products or maybe money to, you know, help the less privileged. They don't. They rather use the money on themselves. So when I started my foundation, reaching out to brands, it was really, really difficult for them to, you know, help. And then some will even say, a small girl like you, are you sure this your foundation thing is really legit?
Yeah.
Those are the kind of challenges I've faced. Yeah.
But in questions like that, what assurances did you give to these brands for them to come on board?
Okay, so I didn't really have to say much because when we did our first donation and then the second one, I gathered the videos and then the pictures and all that. So sometimes I have to send it to them and be like, okay, this is what I do. And then we would want you to step in and then support us in any little way that you can. So that was how I've been able to convince some one or two brands to step in for us in this year's donation. And then.
But aside, you know, the donations and other, you know, minor things, or should I say major, do you see your foundation creating other job opportunities for your volunteers? Because we have the likes of, let's say, bus stop boys. They're also volunteers, right? And they have so many people on board. And so they are not just cleaning. They have food vendors. They have, So with your foundation, you see yourself creating an avenue, you know, of employment or employing people?
Well, for that, I would say no.
Why?
I would say
You've
no,
been in this for 3 years. Are you not thinking for your members, or you're just okay with the 5-6 people you work with?
I actually don't want to work with like crowd. 5-6 real people are okay for me. Yeah, I don't want to move with maybe 20 people, 50 people, and at the end of the day, they might not really be helping the foundation to grow. They just want to come because of what they are getting. Do you understand? So.
Of the brands that are on board, they are just there to, you know, suck it up. But I mean, you know, as a foundation, people will be expecting more from you. I mean, it shouldn't just be donations. We want to see you joining communal labor, you know, cleaning the society and all that. Do you do that?
We will. We will start that, God willing, next year. Yeah.
Next year?
Next year, yeah.
Why not this year?
We are done for the year.
You are done for the year?
Yeah, we are done for the year. So,
interesting.
God willing, next year we would organize something like that. Yeah.
I'm hitting on this because I want to really know how volunteering impacts your foundation, right? And so let's talk about collaborations.
Okay.
As a foundation, don't you think it's important to collaborate with other foundations, you know, in doing these communal labor I'm talking about, that is going to really have an impact on your foundation and also the community as a whole?
Well, it is needed. It is needed, but then most of the foundations out there, they are not ready to, you know, partner with each other. It's more or less like a competition. Yeah, it's more or less like a competition. So I don't think maybe
but why is it so? Why is it seen as a competition? Because you are all working towards the same goal.
Like I said earlier, it's not everyone who owns a foundation has the aim to really give back to the society. They create such avenues just to be like, okay, we want to go and donate so and so items to these people. You give them the items or the resources. They don't really utilize it well. Maybe they'll end up spending it on themselves rather than using it to do what they are supposed to do. Yeah.
And I'm very happy that your foundation is not like that.
Yeah, we are not like that.
Yes,
we are
of
genuine.
course. You are very legit. But what are you doing to curb this competition mindset that people have when it comes to, you know, foundations and volunteering? You are in the light. You have seen Christ. You are in the light. So you know the truth. So what are you doing? Or what do you have in mind? Or what do you think you can do to help bring the other foundations together, to let them understand that we are one? We are supposed to be working towards, you know, nation building.
For that one, yeah, I can't tell. Maybe a few years to come. And
for now, I don't really have any advice for them.
I don't really.
That's quite interesting because I thought, you know, as a foundation, you would
even advise them. They wouldn't take it.
Yeah. So you just advise them again. Maybe they'll be watching.
So if you own a foundation, please kindly use your platform to help others. don't use the platform to rather make money for your personal use, but rather use that opportunity to help the less privileged.
Interesting. I mean, I have just 2 questions more and then we'll wrap up. So, assuming someone is watching and the person wants to start a foundation, can you walk the person through what they should do to, start building a foundation?
Okay. So first of all, you would have to register your. It's more or less like a company.
Okay.
NGO. So you have to register, and then
wait. Shouldn't there be an interest first, or anybody at all can get into, this foundation thing? Because for some people, as you clearly said, they have the mindset of making money and then, attracting brands.
Today, just anybody can own a foundation because we have millions of foundations out there. Someone might wake up today, the person wants to set up a foundation for their own
selfish purposes.
Yeah. So, what I would say is that before you set up a foundation, make sure you are capable, you have the money, because starting, I'm not sure you would have that opportunity to start with other brands at a go. So you'd have to make sure you have your own money, and then like the platform to reach out to people. Yeah.
Interesting. Now, so where do you see yourself and your foundation 5 years, 3 years to come?
Well, in 5 or 6 years to come, I want my foundation to be one of the biggest NGOs in Ghana, where we would be able to reach out to so many people, the less privileged, help them if possible, create a platform for them to learn trade, and then those who want to go to schools can then also go to school. Yeah.
We've been talking about your foundation for some time now, but I haven't even mentioned the name of your foundation. So in a minute or two, briefly tell us about your foundation. If you have an upcoming, project you would be embarking on, you also speak on that.
So the name of my foundation is Heart of Rose Foundation, and we donated items to my alma mater in Volta region. That was on the 16th of August. So next year we'll continue. So in case you want to support us, you can reach us on 053-053-0513. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we can just contact you on a call number.
Yes.
No social media platforms.
Social media platform is Adorable Rosie or Heart of Rose Foundation.
Thank you so much. And that's all we have for you here on the Lifestyle segment. And thankfully, we have Benedict Nketia Kwarteng back from wherever he went. Yes, producer. So there's no birthday. Oh, but I have birthday. So, okay, so I have, okay, this is for my very own. Let me just wish her straight away. A happy birthday to you, Hajara, Madam Hajara, inside Kumasi. God richly bless you. This is like a special birthday, message coming from me to you, your Ekuma Papebi. God richly bless you. I love you so much. And from Hajia and the little girl, from Titi, we all say a happy birthday to you. God richly bless you. I hope you have learned something from our discussion today on the Lifestyle segment as we discuss volunteering and its impact on foundation. Adorable Rosie. Hey God. Adorable Rosie. It didn't work, Drew. Adorable Rosie was my guest. And so, yes, just as I said earlier, Benedict Nketia Kwarteng will be joining me real quick. Let's take this break out. When we come back, we'll have sports. And you are welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. I'm excited this morning because Benedict Nketiah Kwarteng is finally back, aka Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer. Yesterday, Manchester United. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We are bleeding.
Today
We
I
are
decided
bleeding.
to represent them today. I mean, the best team in the world.
Hey.
Allegedly. Wow, it's such a shame because United used to be one of the biggest teams in Europe when it comes to English football, even European football throughout the world. But then, unfortunately, we don't know where the problem is coming from because Amorim requested for some players and he's been giving some players. They've signed some good players.
Like
they have Cunha, they have Mbeumo, they've signed Shesko and all that.
But some supporters are, requesting that we take out some of the players because they are not helping the team.
Honestly,
I support them.
I think United has the best team so far. For the past few years now, United has the best team. Okay, so this is the highlight of yesterday's game, and they played against Grimsby. Grimsby is a 4th division team. Equalize. Could see that the team, they were trying to do something in this final minute.
So what was the outcome?
So they played 2-2.
2-2.
Harry Maguire scored. Actually, Harry Maguire is the striker for United now. He's a defender though, but he's a striker, and so they want to play penalties. And then they played up until I think the 11th the 11th and the 12th penalty. So it was a 13th penalty.
Wow.
I think, then Mbeumo missed it. This was the second penalty for the game. And then he missed it. And that was when Grimsby won the game. And they did well. Let's give it to them. Let's go to the main story for the day.
Interesting. But why did you decide to wear jersey today? I need
to sympathize with them. I want them to know that they are not alone. They are not in this alone.
It's true.
We are with them.
It's true. This is the time we need more love.
They need more love. Whatever they are going through, I can feel their pain.
We are going through a lot.
As a sports analyst, as a sports journalist, I want them to know that we are with them.
Take us away, baby.
Let's go to the main story. The headlines for today. We have why Fatawu Ishahaku was not called up by Otuado. GFA explains. And then we have Derek Cohn of Union Berlin earning his first Stars call-up for Chad and Mali matches. Then we have Arthur Melo. Cohn returns to Mayo from Juventus. And then finally, Erling Haaland changes his name on national team jersey as Norway make announcement. So on the first story, that is why Fatawu Ishahaku was not called up by Otuado with GFA explaining. Okay, so I don't know if you have seen the lineup for
I think I chanced on it.
The call-ups. So one of the key players of the Black Stars, that's Fatawu Ishahaku, was not called up, and then it has become news that is spreading around. But then I want viewers to understand the fact that Ishahaku is one of the best players of that we can come up with. He's doing very well internationally, but unfortunately he had an injury, and then with this kind of injury, ACL injury, it is quite difficult when you return to the field of play. So it is just tactical when we went for the interview, when we read the interview, the officials of GFA, Ghana Football Association, claimed that this selection, not calling Isharaku is tactical, just to get him to be better prepared.
Yeah.
This is a qualifying.
Yeah.
We are Ghana Blasters is leading the group stage, so you can tell that okay, there is hope.
Yeah.
We'll definitely make it to the World Cup, but we don't want him to lose out just because of these two matches. I think the players that has been called up is...
And I think I agree with, Coach Ado on that, because, I mean, we need to reserve the best, for the hard times.
They're equally good players that have been called up. Let me quickly run through the squad list. We have the goalkeepers, we have Lawrence Atizigi, Joseph Annan, and then Joseph Benjamin Asari. And then the defenders, we have Gideon Mensah, Derek Atakon, Mohamed Salisu, Jerome Koko, Alexander Jiku, Jonas Ajete, Tariq Lamte, Alebi Renchi. In the midfielders, we have Elisha Owusu, Mohamed Kudus, Ibrahim Osman, Ibrahim Suleimana, Thomas Partey, Abdul Salih Samed. And then the forward, the strikers, we have Antoine Semenyo, Kamaldeen Suleimana, Joseph Pinto, Jerry Efriye, Jordan Ayew, Christopher Bonsu Ba, and then Inaki Williams. So this is for the Black Stars call up the squad list. And then
but wait, hold on. Don't you think they're also overusing Kudus?
We are not overusing Kudus. That is
really?
No, we are not.
We are not.
No. I mean, he's a very good player, and then this is where we must make use of he's in his prime. So him playing very well now needs to show off. We need to show him off by making him play more matches. We don't have to exert him, exert him in matches, but in games he's performing very well. We are leading. We can put him on the bench, and then someone else come in and also show what they can do. But then we're not overusing Kudus. He's a perfect fit for the Blasters now.
What about Partey?
Partey is a legendary striker, defensive midfielder. Defensive midfielder for the team. So I think his call-up is also very good. I mean, we have some issues surrounding him and all that, but then I think it doesn't change the fact that he's a very good player. So let's still on the Blasters call-up. That is the second story. Derek Korn being called up, ending his first call-up for the Chad and Mali matches. He's also an international player playing for Union Berlin. He's quite a very good player, very good defender. I don't think a lot of people have seen him play like that, but then if you watch some of his games, you can tell very tactical, and he's attack focused too. Yes, he's doing his job as a defender, but then when you watch some of his matches, you can tell that this gentleman wants to explore. He wants to make good use of the defensive play the role that he's performing at. So he's very good, and I wish him the best.
Yeah, I like the comparison that is being done, between him and also our former player Kevin Prince Boateng, who used to play for Ghana. They say they have a resemblance when it comes to their energy and then focus.
I think you are talking about the looks, and I don't blame you. You're a lady.
Not looks, I mean.
But he's a left back. He's a left back. So hopefully he comes out to be one of the best left backs the country can produce, because we are lacking the left back section of our play. So I believe I think he should start. And then he will do better when he starts the game. And let's move on to our next story, and that is Atamelu completing a loan return to Grêmio from Juventus. I don't know if you know Atamelu. You don't know Atamelu. So he's one of the best midfielders you can come up with. He played for Barcelona. That is my team, and then from there he moved to Juventus, and then he was sent on loan. And then he went to Liverpool, but he couldn't play for any match in the Premier League because he had an injury. But then Atamelu is one of the good midfielders. I mean, attacking midfielders too, because he did very well in his time with Barcelona. I'm going to talk about Barcelona a lot because I watched him a lot when he was playing for Barcelona.
Okay.
He played at Barcelona at the time when Barcelona had lost a lot of good players. So him coming in to play was very tactical, was very good because it helped the team a lot. It helped at least sustain the team to a certain level. And we own some of our successes as a team. I speak with confidence when it comes to Barcelona, because I know the team I support. It's one of the best. It's actually the best team in the whole wide world.
We've heard you.
Yes,
we've heard you.
Yeah, Atamelo, kudos to him for his performances with Barcelona, and then I wish him the best in Grêmio. Grêmio is in Brazil, just to enlighten viewers. Grêmio is in Brazil. It's his home team. Let me put it that way. So this is where he was grown. This is where he started from, and then they are the 14th team in Brazil, Brazilian league. So they are not really doing well, but then I hope and pray that he performs very well when he joins them. And then let's move on to Haaland, Erling Haaland. I'm sure since you're interested in English football, you know Erling Haaland.
Yeah, I know him.
So Erling Haaland has requested that they change his name on his national team jersey. So they are adding his middle name, the Braut. I hope viewers forgive me for not if I'm able to mention it well. It's B-R-A-U-T, Braut, Erling Braut Haaland. And then he's requesting that he has actually made the changes. They add his middle name to his surname. So on their next international match, that is Norway, I think, against Scotland, if I'm not mistaken, he's going to wear this jersey, and this is where we'll see the middle name together with his surname on his jersey. There was a little bit of controversy between him and then his manager, because his manager claims that he is not aware, he's not on the known of these changes. I think we players, football players, we need to sometimes pay respect to our coaches, our managers, because if your manager comes out to say that he is not aware of these changes, it goes a long way to speak about you. I mean, you are very good when it comes to the field of play, but you need to also have certain kind of morals. You know, not to speak down on Erling Haaland, no, but this is an advice to all of us out there. You know, we need to pay respect to our leaders. You get it? Yeah, but then
on that note, I think let me inform my boss. Boss, please, I'm adding one name to my name. Okay.
What do you want to be known as?
Call Mimi.
Okay, so we've launched a new name called Mimi. Anyway, that's great. But then Erling Haaland. That's the story for Erling Haaland. That is it for the sports update segment. So,
interesting, Benedict. Interesting.
I've been gone for a while, but I'm back.
You're back, finally back. Well, before we wrap up, last time I think on Tuesday, I was here with James, and then James made a profound statement about our stadia in Ghana being named as, or being given the name, the rights of the names of the stadia should be given to companies so that they can sponsor, you know, the furnishing and everything in the stadium. Maintenance and all that. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think it's the best decisions to do, like the right way to do when it comes to our stadia. Because my problem, which touches my heart most of the time, is the maintenance. It is pretty bad. And then in the right way, our government, our officials, the sports authority, the sports ministry, they are supposed to be in charge of the maintenance of our stadium. But then this is the result so far. I've been to Esipon Stadium in Takoradi, the Western region. I've been to the Accra Sports Stadium. I've been to Babarara Sports Stadium. I've been to Legon. I've seen a lot of stadia when it comes to what we have as a country. And I've seen the states that they are in. So then we can all conclude that, okay, the job is, maybe it's overwhelming. The ministry is being overwhelmed with the maintenance. So giving the rights to private companies to maintain it, to handle it, I think we can also try them out and see what they can do. They've proven to be the best when it comes to maintenance. So I don't think it's wrong.
The likes of MTN, you know, these big companies, Toyota and the rest,
it's going a long way to talk about who they are as a company. So I think it's the right way to do.
All right. Thank you so much, Benedict and Ketia Kwate, for taking us into the world of sports. And big shout outs going out to James Tay for that profound, statement you made on Tuesday. We'll keep, highlighting that. Now, this is a special birthday to Ethel, and it says, "Happy birthday, Angel. I'm thankful God brought you into my way. Wishing you overflowing blessings, supernatural breakthroughs, and a year filled with amazing testimonies." This is from our very own James. Hey, James, I've seen your girlfriend.
Hey, James is married
All
to a
right,
lot of ladies.
thank you so much. We have business and also the main discussion coming your way. I am Miriam Abuna Adede. Peter Insia is standing by to take us into the world of business.
Hello and welcome to the Business Update segment of the Koko Digest Morning Show. I'm your host, Peter Nsia, and now let's get started with the news for business today. In a bid to support local good producers and curb smuggling, the Ghana Good Board has announced a special temporary bonus for licensed miners across the country. This actually started yesterday, Wednesday, August 27, 2025. Miners selling their gold through Good Board will receive an additional 832 Ghana cedis per pound. This adjustment pushes the local price of gold from 8,866 cedis to 9,700 cedis per pound.
The initiative comes in response to concerns from miners about falling local prices, a trend linked to the continued strengthening of the Ghana cedi. Gold Board says the bonus is designed to protect miners' earnings while recognizing their role in boosting national gold output and foreign exchange reserves. The board also directed its licensed traders nationwide to ensure timely payment of the bonus to all miners who channel their sales through official outlets.
Away from that story, the Ghana Revenue Authority says cryptocurrency traders in the country will soon be brought under the tax net as part of efforts to strengthen revenue collection in the digital economy. The authority is preparing to deploy new technology that will allow it to track transactions and profit made from digital assets. Officials explain that the system will be able to capture crypto accounts and ensure that individuals who trade in digital currencies pay the taxes required under existing laws.
It forms part of a broader plan to align Ghana's tax system with the rapid growth of the digital economy. The GRA says it is positioning itself to be digitally ready in order to close loopholes in online transactions and improve compliance. Already, rules for taxing online businesses exist, such as the application of VAT on both in-person and online purchases. The new system will enable the authority to capture directly at point of transaction, reducing challenges with tracing and enforcement. According to the GRA, the technology will be piloted by the end of the year before being fully rolled out. The strategy also aligns with government policy of avoiding the introduction of new taxes, but instead enforcing measures already provided for within existing tax laws.
On to our last story. The Bank of Ghana has introduced new rules on the import and export of foreign currencies aimed at tightening anti-money laundering controls. Under the amendment guidelines, travelers can bring into or take out of Ghana up to $10,000 or its equivalent without any declaration. Those carrying more than that must complete the official FX5 form with customs, indicating the source and purpose of the funds. Incoming passengers with amount above the limit must also show proof of declaration from their ports of origin.
Bound travelers, any amount above $50,000 must be declared with supporting documents such as endorsed Forex Bureau receipts and bank slips. Importers are also required to present valid trade documents, including invoices and contracts. The central bank cautions that undeclared or falsely declared funds, as well as transactions without the necessary documentation, will attract sanctions ranging from seizure and fines to possible prosecution. Foreign currency sent through mail or cargo will also be confiscated. The new rules, which cover not only cash but also checks, bonds, precious metals and prepaid wallets, take effect from September 1st, 2025. According to the Bank of Ghana, the move is to ensure compliance with international anti-money laundering standards and to protect the country's financial system.
And this is all we have for you on the Business Update segment. I am Peter Insia. Thank you for staying with us. Up next is the main discussion with Yaira Awono. Stay tuned.
To the Koko Digest Morning Show, and if you're just tuning in, it's time for the main discussion. And I have my co-host here with me, and we're going to be discussing the big issues. And I have Clement Yabankwe and Peter Nsia again with me. And as we know, the big issues are first and foremost the Gweniyuri clashes. We have the Equator by-election, the Bagre Dam spillage, and also I think there's one more. Which one am I missing?
The education.
Yes, education issue as well. So we're going to be discussing as well as speaking with our guests via phones. And so we're going to be speaking with the very first guest is going to be Dr. Alexander Intikani. He is the Deputy Director of Research at the Environment. That is Environmental and Climate Economics at the Center for Climate Change and Food Security. Then the next guest is also a security analyst that we may be able to reach very soon. So he's also, if we get him, he's also going to be telling us about, the security aspects of the conversation. So let's get into it quickly, gentlemen. Yes, we are back again.
Yes, we are back again. And I think before we ended it online, I wanted to raise the issue of the education story, because last Tuesday we were talking about the provisional release of BC results, and also the issues surrounding it, the WASI related matters. And yesterday, the director for Ghana Education Service himself, Professor, actually met the press and made other statements known to the press on the aspect of the school placement system that we have. You see, last Tuesday, I made it so emphatic that BEC had two core mandates, or the reason for its establishment was for two things. The first one was for certification purposes, and the other one was for the placement, school placement purposes. And certification purposes now, per 2025 results release, is done. So the other thing we are going to look at is the school placement aspect. And that is what yesterday the Director General of Ghana Education Service actually communicated to Ghanaians. And before we move into that discussion, I just want to stick that video first.
Okay.
That video first, so that we can speak about it into details.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's have the video up quickly. Okay. So the video is not ready at the moment. So we'll have to continue with the conversation, and then when it's ready, I will let us all.
Okay, so in the video, or per the press statement, this is what was said. It was said that it's going to start from September 1 to September 8. That is the review and confirming of entry at the school placement processes. So it will start from September 1 to September 8, 2025. And the actual placement begins on the 17th of September 2025.
Okay.
So that is when the actual placement it's going to begin. And this time around, we're going to have centers across the regions and also the district levels where you can easily walk there to verify your information and to correct any of the entries if the need may be. And the purpose of all this is for to enhance transparency and accountability, because over the years, people would raise a concern that I was not given the school I selected. Out of the 4 schools I selected, none was given to me, but a different thing also was given. So to enhance transparency and accountability, that was the purpose of that era.
Okay, so the video for what Clement is talking about is ready. So let's take a quick look, and then we get back to it.
I wish to put on record today that placement is free. School placement is free. It's totally free. It is not for sale. Ministry of Education, or GES, is not linked to this illegal business. Anybody who sells placement to a parent or guardian is therefore doing an illegal business. As such, persons who approach you to sell placement should be reported to the law enforcement agencies to be apprehended. Placement is free, it's not for sale. In order to ensure smooth placement exercise, as we always do, our call centers and resolution center will be activated. For the convenience of candidate and parent, call centers will be set up across all regions with dedicated lines to address issues that might arise after the placement exercise. We strongly discourage walk-ins at centralized locations, as this creates congestion. Instead, there will be district-level resolution centers where challenges can be resolved effectively. These call centers and resolution center should be operational by 18th September 2025. I wish to put on record today.
Right, so we heard from the video that it is illegal to, pay and have your placements done and all that. But I think Clement has rather in-depth info on this for us.
Yeah, right. I think, right, as you said, we will touch on the fee aspect of this placement, but the other aspect of this whole exercise is to improve placement accuracy. Because if I end up choosing, let's say, school A, and the system proved that I choose school B, that kind of inaccuracy is not there. So to solve all these issues, that is why this exercise is being launched, or they are going to do this exercise. So I think students need to take advantage of it.
Right.
And parents are supposed to help their kids out. I remember those days, if before you select a school, your mom or your dad is supposed to be aware before you select a school. But this time around, people do it on their own. Children, they do it on their own. And it brings a lot of issues at the end of the day. And also, the aspect of fraud, reduction of fraud. There are, over the years, there have been a report that before you can get category A school, like the school they know themselves, those schools, you need to pay some amount of money, of which people were paying those amount of money. You pay as huge as 5,000 Ghana cedis, as huge as 4,000 Ghana before your child will be admitted to a particular institution. And now GS is telling us that it is illegal. So if you get to know, or if anybody tells you that pay this amount of money before you get admission into this institution, you're not supposed to pay. But this very information also has the other side, because some parents would be, or they would view that, I want my child to go to this kind of institution. So if I want my child to go to this kind of institution, people will come that, then why don't you pay this amount of money? And most Ghanaians, or some Ghanaians, have been trained in a way where we are very reluctant in reporting issues. We feel that, hey, media impairment wants some more. Growing up, that was our most family train up their children. So sorry to they were like, that kind of nurturing, you get the thing, that kind of nurturing that we were brought up makes us sometimes coiled into ourselves, that we are unable to come out openly to speak to issues. Medium impairment has some way and family, let me keep quiet. So that when we see issues like this, fraud in these institutions, in this school placement, we should be able to come out and just tell the Ghana Police Service. That's what the director made us understand. Report the issue, because if we take it from that angle, that is when we'll be able to deal with the issue of we are complaining always about our education structure is not being the best. This is one of the issues we should look out for. So I would end here by saying that parents need to take a very critical notice of this, that don't pay any amount of money to anybody before your child will be enrolled into any other institution. As I said, people say they want the best for their children.
But there's also this phenomenon that we've been seeing over the years, at least in these past few years, especially, I don't know, for some time it may seem like I'm against the PSHS, I'm not, but it's more like these are some of the things that have cropped up with the introduction of the free SHS. And it's like this, I think from even our time, you select a number of schools. It's about, I think we selected 6 at the time. I don't know if it's more or less, but it's more than one school.
Yeah.
Now, it seems also as though because of the agenda, the alleged agenda that, you know, they're trying to ship a lot of students and say that the initiative is successful, we have students who, they get aggregate 50. Then they are given the category A schools. And there's also another phenomenon where it's like the more intelligent students, the students that perform very well, get the category A and B schools. Then the less, you know, the ones who perform maybe optimum level or even a little less than up to standard, they get the C, Ds, and whatever alphabets are left. Now, it's now like there are schools that are termed aggregate 20 schools. And then there are schools for the 06, 09, you know. Now, it seems that now students getting 20, they are getting the schools that are for category A. And it seems like it was also a reward system that when you do very well, you get the likes of the Gay Hayes and the Accra Academies. When you don't do very well, you get the likes of the schools that are in some remote areas, something like that. But now, the school placement system has seemingly become as though even if you do very well, you may get a school, you may get thrown into a school, one of your last choices. So it may be one of the reasons parents seem to be wanting to pay to go and have these things rectified. What about that? Is that going to also be addressed?
Okay, so during the address yesterday, it was made known that the placement is going to be strictly merit-based.
Okay.
And so this is how it is. 4 core subjects and then 2 best elective. So in total it is 6. When they put it together, the grade. So depending on the grade you had, that is the school. That is why everything is these days like automated. You wouldn't get, like you said, you wouldn't get people saying, come and pay this and I'll place you here and all that. It is fully automated and it is merit-based. Based on what you had, your grades, when they calculate the 4 core subjects with your 2 best elective. If you had 10 or 9 or 11, we know the schools that, you know,
you get a 6 and things. You know, we know you are going to get the schools with the good resources and amenities and teachers, right?
Yes. So I believe that we've said a lot about these GEC exams and placement in the past. So, you know, GES coming up to give us this directive as to the way forward is a very good thing. And then we know that from 1st to 8th, that is the 8th of September, each candidate has the, you know, right to access the portal to check, you know, the gender and everything. And then there's also a case of, like we said last week, that in case a parent is not satisfied with, you know, the outcome of the results, in case of, you know, most of the subjects, you know, papers have been cancelled. Others' results entirely cancelled and all that. In case a ward or a parent is not happy and would like to take, you know, work on, I'm glad that the grace period GES has given, you will be forced to, you know, act within time. So that it wouldn't be that after the school placement, you are now raising alarm that, oh, your ward's, you know, result was cancelled, it was unfair and all that. And so we are urging parents that if you are not satisfied with anything at all, this is the time. From now to 8th of September, you can report and do all other things before the placement, you know, starts. Once the placement starts, I'm not sure GES will be available to, you know, attend to issues like that.
Right. So, Clemens, you also wanted to answer my question.
Yes, I wanted to respond to your question, but Peter raised a point here. So let me quote what the director said. He said, students who want to raise issues with WAEC should make sure that the issues are resolved within the time we do the placement. He won't. They have 3 weeks to do that. Otherwise, there is nothing they can do about it. So that is one thing I just want to say. But on the other hand, you said, yes, those days, the single ticket student or grade go to category A institution. That was what we were taught. But the introduction of free SHS made this a situation where even if you are with grade 20, grade 30, you might get opportunity to be in category A institution. And let's say people with grade 6 or 9 might end up being category C or D institution. Yeah, right. For me, I think it was not a bad idea. It was not bad.
I think when you get children, you understand.
No, yeah, right. On the basis that, you see, when you've ever been a teacher before, of which I did my intention. So in the Boise Senior High School, I understand. When in a class where, sorry to use the word, that all students are under average, teaching becomes a problem. Why? You need to get a class where people might be above average, people will be at average, and people will be below average, so that you'll be able to balance the class. So that even if you want to have groups, you want to even if you want to demarcate groups for the class group and all these things, at least you have a student who's a good student who can at least lead the group. Also, they will be able to learn from. Bear in mind that not all students will be able to grab what a teacher teaches in a class instantly. People get to understand it whilst their colleagues are teaching them. So I think that kind of idea was to make sure that even those who are not performing well will be able to get the advantage or opportunity to go to these good schools, so that they'll be able to learn, tap into the best of the other students they have. So I think it was a nice idea, but the issue was when they started taking money from people for placement purpose. That was the wrong thing. But the idea of mixing it up was a good one, of course.
Then that also sort of defeats the purpose of the cutoff point then. Does it not? Because on Tuesday we talked about the fact that now we think that there should be a cutoff point, so that the students don't just use the fact that or engage in all kinds of more practices and they still get the chance to go. Because we understand that yes, the fingers are not the same, human beings and all of that. That is also a different scenario from the amount of efforts the students put in to studying to get the good grades, because we remember that even as the director said, it's going to be merit-based. Now, merit-based means that you are going to be sort of I don't want to use the word worthy of whatever school you've been given. Now, you don't expect to tell two students, right? One person with the 06, one person with 50. You tell the 06 that you go to Fanchiniko High because you are very brilliant, go and help them. No. And you tell 50 to go to Gehe. No. Or tell 50 to go to one of the, I'm just using these schools as an example. I'm not trying to cause any issues there. But when you do that, what message are you sending to the other students? Because let's say with the aggregate 50, it is about the effort that they put in. You know how, even we talked about how nowadays students are not as serious as they used to be because a lot of things have been changed in the system. Now, if someone is getting this grade and being sent to this school, then it takes away the merit-based system again, because now the phenomenon or the situation by which we were, trying to go to these schools was that you study hard to get the school you desire, to get the school that has the name. But now you can, and then just go. It's contradictory.
Yeah, it's for my understanding, it's not really a big problem. The cutoff points can still be there. If the cutoff point is 30, it's 30. If you get beyond 30, you don't get school. Yes, we have what we call Novdek for what, so you can.
Yes, we talked about that on Tuesday. For BC
to make them sit up. But my point is, assuming if they send all single-digit students who studied throughout the night to, let's say, the category A schools, and you send all those who have double digit to, let's say, category D or category C school, at the end of the day, what you are going to produce is not going to be of the same impact.
Right.
Let's get that one. The category A school, because of the infrastructure and what they are exposed to, they'll come out being the best of the society. And the category D school and the category C school will end up being disadvantaged one way or the other. So on the other side, where the Ghana Education Service over the years were introducing this kind of, you having a double digit, get opportunity to go to, let's say, the best school, you having this, go to they were trying to mix it up. Notwithstanding, over the years, during our days, I remember we had what we call, I've forgotten the name, but let's say a student from your school will be able to come to my school to study when asked for a term, and a student from my school will come to your school, exchange program. It was happening in Essence.
Yes.
I don't know if it's still going on, but that was what's happening over the years. We do experience them. So that one was just for you to go learn how things are being done in that institution and come apply.
Yeah, but then Clement, with what you are saying, that means that then the option of choice is defeated because each student is given a chance to choose. Okay, let me use my time. We chose 6 schools. You cannot tell me that I have chosen my category A school, done my best, got my 6 A's or something, and I'm ready. I've prayed, called my God, everything. I want to go to my category A school. You tell me that, to create balance, you are sending me somewhere. It does not. It then defeats that purpose because why then did I choose the school? Then also it brings us back to the fact that we need to beef up all the schools, all the other schools, so that if all these schools are now at the same level, where we don't have category A, category B, and whatnot, you just have a list of schools you choose. Now students will no longer be so disheartened when they get a school that is termed a category D school, but rather whatever placement you get in your number of schools you've chosen, you are okay with it because this is the choice you made. You knew that it is a 1 in a 6 chance of getting any of these schools. So it should go back to rather bettering the infrastructure of all these schools, because there are certain SHSs, even basic education, there are schools under trees even in 2025, which is a big issue. So because even all of us here, if we have wards and now we get to hear these things, I don't think we will be happy to hear that our children have to go to a school that does not have the resources just because we want to create some balance and whatnot.
So my question is, what makes up a category A school and what makes a category B or D school? If it is about infrastructure, I think it's high time we also, government take this initiative to, make all schools equal in terms of infrastructure. Now, talking about the grades, when you go to the villages, when you go to the villages, somebody there with the little amenities or facilities the person has there, the person maybe tops his or her class. That person, the kind of effort the person is putting in place, maybe the person wrote BECE and the person had aggregate 20. Now, if the person is given an opportunity to enroll in one of these category A schools, you will see that in terms of performance, you will see that with the facilities that the person has access to now, you will see that no, the person really is doing well. But because the person had 19 because of the resources the person was not having where he or she came from. And so I believe that this issue of brilliance, it should be looked at, because yes, you might be in the city with all the resources you have access to.
You can still get a 50.
You can still get 50. But somebody down there in the village
who gets 9 ones
will
or
get 9 ones.
6
So the fact is that, like you said, balancing, but it is good to have a more brilliant, like in a class. You should have people with the higher IQ below so that they will assist. So my issue is that if the schools are put into groups based on the facilities and then the teachers, then I'm sure teachers, if we have some specific teachers who teach students to get good grades, then I'm sure those teachers too should be
signed to those kind of institutions.
Yes. So before you come in, there's also the part of these category A schools being mission schools. So aside the government support, there's also support from the various denominations, right? And then also some schools, based on, like we saw with the Accra Academy Homecoming, some schools are supported by their old students and things. But what about these other schools that are, out in the remote areas that don't have that much support? Because if these schools, you see, the ones that have their old students and things supporting and donating and everything, helping to probably get some employment for the teachers, they will definitely move forward, but as opposed to the others. So again, the government needs to come up with that, or even if the old students too can help them. I mean, some of us, the schools we went to, we don't want to be affiliated anymore. So, sometimes maybe you didn't have a very good experience and all of that. But in the end, these schools too need to be beefed up so that we don't have these issues. Because yes, the fingers are not the same. Students, you're not going to have every student with a high IQ. That is normal. But to subject somebody to non-favorable conditions, even after you're telling them it is merit-based, just because of the fact that you need to create a balanced system where, they can also help their less privileged students, it will take a toll on the student. That's something we need to think about.
Okay, Sarah, I think the point I was going to make is what you made earlier, that there's senior high schools call shouldn't only be on the government.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of things the government equally need to pay attention to. As we mentioned earlier, the basic institution. As we speak, we have some basic schools who don't have never seen computer before. They've never touched mouse before, but these people would end up writing BEC with people who already have laptops.
Yeah.
They end up writing BEC with people who have been exposed to this kind of IT system just from the very basis of their life. So I think, as you said, much attention equally need to send to the basic institution so that that kind of balance can be created there. Then it transits to the senior high.
Right.
On the call of the government coming to the senior, I think it's high time the old student need to take up that mantle of helping wherever you came from. Yes, maybe, as you said, you might not have a very good experience in your previous institution, the second cycle institution, but you still need to go back to help.
To help the
I really love the fact of Accra because every year they do that kind of massive homecoming. And on Saturday, I spoke to the president for the 1980-year group. So just imagine, someone completed almost 45 years ago. Still have the love to come back to the institution and still donate.
Yeah.
As on Saturday, they were going to cut sort for a building for IT lab, a new modernized structure. So I believe that the various old students or various institutions need to come in
and help.
Let's go in and help. Anything you can, I think that's the way to go.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, my producer says we are spending too much time on this education conversation. So let's go to the dam spillage. We have a video of the Upper East Regional Minister. Then we go into the conversation.
One thing is that the Koko multi-purpose dam is a heavy investment, about $990 million. It's a heavy investment. And this multi-purpose dam, the feasibility studies were done during Professor Mel's time in 2013. And so when the NPP took over, they also came in and tried to embark upon it. And they have not been successful, and the dam, they had, and some monies have been spent, but we haven't seen anything fiscally. So once we have come in, they are at the level of assessing the expenditure that that was committed during the MPP regime, and then to be able to now take a decision as how we can move ahead with it. So as such, the government, it is part of our NDC resetting agenda, and for that matter, it will be worked on, but we are yet going through the books to be able to determine when to start and what will be the concluding period. I will be quick to add that realizing that that is a long-term solution, we, the Northern Caucus, made up of the 5 regional ministers from the Northeast, Savannah, Northern Region, Upper West and Upper East, and all the MPs, whether MPP or NDC or whatever, all the MPs in the North, we have formed a caucus to respond to this food insecurity in the region, and to also, which will also be part of responding to the spillage of the dam. And so we are putting in place certain schemes to do small-scale irrigation works, and so that we will be able to get our farmers to do some farming with the modern techniques, with the hand pumps, with the some other small mechanized systems, instead of waiting for the bigger jobs. And in the case of the spillage area, we can do evacuation, the excavations, to be able to have some areas, some hole-ups, and so that we can prevent this water being flooded all over, and we can trap it for farming purposes. So this is what we are looking at. So we have already set in motion. I have delegated the agric director that, as opposed to, we can apply this small-scale agric methodology. And as such, We are also asking them to identify the type of crops per each area, which crop is suitable for which area, and so that we'll take off that project. And so I'm just waiting for the agri director to come up, and he will be reporting to me with the size in the region and the coverage, the acreage that are available in the Upper East. My colleagues in the other regions are also doing the same. And when we finish with that, we will give the report to our caucus, which is made up of all the MPs, political appointees across all the political divide, and so that we'll look for private partnership with government so that we'll be able to start that program. So that's what we are doing for now as Northern Caucus to respond to the food insecurity and this. One thing is that the Koko multi-purpose dam is a heavy investment, about $990 million. It's a heavy investment. And this multi-purpose dam, the feasibility studies were done during Professor Mel's time in 2013. And so when the MPP took over, they also came in.
Right, so that was the Upper East Regional Minister, Akamugri Donatus Atanga. I'm very sorry if I butchered your name. And yes, so we heard what he also said about the dam spillage and some of the things that they are going to be doing for the people. So can you tell us a little bit about the dam spillage? Or, okay, let's go with the guest then. We have the questions for him. So we're going to be speaking with Dr. Alexander Intikani. He's the Deputy Director of Research, that is Environmental and Climate Economics, at the Center for Climate Change and Food Security. Now, Dr. Alexander Intikani is a Ghanaian environmental scientist and climate economist, and he is the Deputy Director of Research at the Center for Climate Change and Food Security and a doctoral researcher at the University of Aberdeen in the UK, where his work focuses on heavy metal pollution and sustainable resource recovery from mine waste. Dr. Kani is well known for his public advocacy on a national environmental policy, calling for cleaner fuels instead of emission taxes, pushing for ecocide to be recognized as a heinous crime, warning against the deception of plastic recycling, and raising concerns about Ghana's move toward nuclear power. He brings a unique perspective that bridges science, policy, and climate justice in Ghana and beyond. Now, we're going to be speaking with him very soon, but for now, let's get into the dam spillage issue. I think even in the newspaper review, we're talking about I was saying we should build a reservoir and trap the water and all of that.
You know, so the fact that this affects all the three northern regions, if I'm correct, it affects all the three northern regions. And the man also stated that it's quite expensive to build the Kwalugu Dam, which of course we suggested that when it happens, it should rather collect it and, store it. So I think that,
Right. So sorry to cut you, but we have Dr. Kani on the line. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I hope you are well.
By God's grace, we're doing well.
All right. Thank you so much for your time with us this morning. So we would like to hear your opinions or what you'd like to say about the Bagri Dam spillage before we get into the questions.
Okay. Thank you for having me. And, good morning to your listeners. To start with, let's have an idea the kind of dam that we are looking at. So this particular dam, the Bagri Dam, is located in Burkina Faso on the White Water. It forms part of the larger water basin, and it was built for hydropower and irrigation purposes, and it has a capacity of about 7 billion metric tons. And so data shows that at the moment it's over 90% full to capacity. And so that's why the earlier scheduled dates that they were looking at to open up, it got to be brought back to 25, and then they had to open it up. It's receiving about 300 to 400 million metric tons, cubic tons water, daily, during the season. So when it happens like that, there's more inflows that is coming in. And it should have been that as it's getting still, it's meeting our rainy season back here in Ghana. And so that is why it become a big issue, because we have a rainy season that is generating more water coming into the system, and we have this dam spillage also coming up. So it's compounding the issues, and it's becoming, it has become an albatross around our necks, and that is why we are where we are. So that is it. I don't know specifically what issues we want to look at to start with, but if you want me to carry on to talk about it or what we need to do, or if you have some questions, then I would know the direction we want us to discuss.
For you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, sir, the first offense, we know this has been happening every year. It's annual issue. So, what do you think, as being the center for climate change and food security, is the way forward for the country? Because always life are being displaced, and you have to go there with relief item. What should be the way forward as a country?
So, thank you. You see, in our release, we talk about a disaster that is predictable requires or demands a predictable or a prepared response. This is something that we know would come or comes every year. It's not happening for once. It's happened several times. So we know it's going to come around the same time. So it demands that we need to prepare ahead of it. If we fail to prepare as it's always happening, then that's the problem. So for us, we're looking at it that the early warning systems is good, and that is the best way to deal with it. But what currently is happening is we are just told just a few days to the release, which is the bigger problem that we have now. So the early warning systems should be implemented so that, we have enough time ahead to prepare. People would have to move to a safer place. They have enough time to get that done. Yeah. So that aside, this information should get to the community, the radio stations, the churches, the mosques. We should be more proactive. It's like it's always a knee-jerk approach where we wait for the issues to come up and then we begin to react, which has always not been the best way to deal with this issue. So that is one. The other thing that we think we can do is climate smart agriculture, where our farmers along these basins are given or are helped to plant food crops that are more resistant to these kind of floods. For example, in this northern part that's experienced in the bigger part of these issues, they deal more with millets, rice, maize, and now through research, there are more resistant varieties that could be planted. So if we support our farmers with these kind of resistant varieties, then it can help, because some can stay underwater for like 2 weeks, and they will still survive.
Okay.
And so if we are giving them these kind of varieties, like it happens in Bangladesh, they supply them with varieties such as the IR64 sub-1. These are resistant to floods, so they can stay under the water for quite a number of days. So by that time, we believe that we would, these levels have gone down, and then farmers would not lose their livelihood. We have the Obatampa means that we can encourage our farmers to help them with the seeds to plant for the right to. There are varieties that are flat tolerant. So this is one thing that we could do. So the early warning systems, the climate smart agriculture, where we are supplying farmers with resistant, flood resistant, tolerant crops. The other thing that we could do is about regional cooperation.
Okay.
We have the Volta River basin that we expect that they should lay with these with the Burkinabe sessions, so that they are able to deal with this. Because in mass cooperation, we will be waiting to the last, to the last day or just few days before we get to know. If that cooperation is enhanced, there could be systems in place that, take us. So we have real-time data, real-time information, so we can plan ahead.
Okay.
So that it wouldn't happen like we are just being informed 2-3 days ahead of spillage, and then we are all in a rush to, do something. Once there's real-time data, people can prepare ahead.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
then, as a country, we can create like zones where our farmers should not plant.
Okay.
Because if they are planting in the lower ends of the basin, definitely once there is spillage, they are going to be hardly hit.
Okay.
And then we should be serious with our zoning. In Ghana, as it happens, places that are demarcated for, not for settlement, we would always end up finding people building around there and living there. And we wait when there is disaster, when these issues come up, then we are all about complaining. Meanwhile, we are the same very people who allow these illegalities to happen. So when we are serious with our law enforcement and then our zoning, these things could help.
Okay.
And it's something that we know, but I don't know if it's about probably it is about the political role and the willingness to invest in this kind of things. That is lacking. That is why this thing is recurring almost all the time, and it's going to continue. So we better prepare as a country for this thing.
Okay, so thank you very much for that. In CCFS recommendations for long term, you made mention from one of the release I had. You made mention of investing in strategies like the room for the river, that's buffers and retention basin. And you made mention of the Palugu multipurpose project, of which we heard the regional minister mention that it's one very expensive thing to do. Do you think that the government is supposed to put measures in place to make sure that this multipurpose dam is really brought into reality?
Of course. You see, when politicians say it's too expensive, I don't get it. Are we saying that human life is, less expensive than the investments to put in this? Let's come back and just look at the sad issue that we had when 8 people, lost their lives. They just so rest in peace. Look at the amount of money we have spent recovering bodies, thanking people, organizing food drives, donations here and there. Oh, look at so all this money. If we are strategically planned and put measures in place to avoid these things, don't you think that we stand a chance to gain than what we've lost now? So the point is that if there is a political will, this thing has been in the pipeline for long.
Yeah.
The Palugu issue has been in the pipeline for a long time. Yeah. But it takes a leader and the government that has the political will to get to work. It's because you know it's going to come. So why don't you create that room for this river so that anytime that comes, it opens, we have a place to store it. We have a place to make good use of it. Okay. This is the kind of investment that we need. Instead than that, then, what are we doing? It will always be the knee-jerk approach. where we are faced with it, and then we run helter-skelter, trying to organize relief items, it won't solve the issue. The issue is the structure things that we need to do first. And I think that is why we think that in the long term, that is what we need to do. One of the things that we got to do. And I think that is what we should be looking at and then pushing for it.
Okay, so I think before my other colleagues come, my last question, do you agree to the call where people are saying that we shouldn't see Bagri Dam spillage as a tragedy, but rather as an avenue for the country to get a great fortune from it?
Well, I think so. Why? Because when there are challenges, there are opportunities. Okay. So the problem we have, the challenge now is the spillage. All right. Depending on, we see it as, a way of, making, or let me say, how do we benefit from the spillage? That is where when we have a buffer system to cater for it, then we know that once it's coming, we can store it. Our farmers can even have access to it for their irrigation purposes. Okay? So once we have a problem, we can create solutions to it. And that solution would be the benefit that at the end of the day, we are going to get from that investment we put towards it. So I think I agree. It is a disaster for us when it comes in because we have not prepared for it. But if we are already prepared for it, then it will not be a disaster for us. But unfortunately, as it stands now, that is it. That's actions that we need to take that we have not taken. So when it comes, it will always be a disaster. But if we have put the right measures in place, then it's not going to come to us as a disaster because we would have prepared for it. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
So now, I think before we go, I'd like to ask, a few more questions. So, is there any need for any early warning systems, for the cross-border operations that can actually help us out? Because with the situation where it was communicated that they were going to do the spillage on the 27th and then on the 25th it was already happening, this could probably cause some people who were not very ready to, evacuate, or it happened earlier than usual. So isn't there a need for the cross-border warning system like that?
Yes, there is. Certainly there is. That is why we have the Water Basin Authority. That is one of the things that they need to do. But they are saying that we should, our VBA, that is the Water Basin Authority, should sit and have some kind of agreement and communication with the Burkina authorities, the Sonabel people, so that there is real-time data sharing. That is the crux of the whole matter. If there is real-time data sharing, we would not wait for them to even come to tell us because we would know. It's like how let's look at how our aviation people operate. Once the flights, we know they know ahead of time that these flights are going to come at this particular time. Sometimes things could happen and it could delay 1 or 2 hours. But at least they have enough information ahead and they are able to prepare. That is what we need to do. So if we have this kind of good communication and real-time data, we would know ahead of time that this is coming. And so we'll be able to now issue information and calls to the people, the potential people who are going to be affected to move. But look at what happens. We were even earlier told 27th, but later they had to move it to 25th. Why? Because it was just about 0.7 meters and the dam will be full to capacity, which would not be good for them. So definitely they have to scale it down earlier. But when these real-time data exist, we would know ahead of time that this is going to happen, and we will take appropriate measures ahead of time. And that could save people, would give people enough time to evacuate, move to higher grounds, do the various things that we need to do. But without data, it's difficult. These days, with AI and the various technologies that are available, these things are predictable. There are simulations that are done, and they're able to predict and know what is going to happen. We are not the only country that sees spillage. But why is our issue? Why is that when it happens at our end, it becomes a disaster? Or it's because we are not properly planned. We are unable to predict correctly or ahead of time what is going to happen. And so our preparedness is very weak. But if we are able to put these measures in place, we'll be able to prepare ahead of time, and then the right response will be in place before even the spillage comes.
Thank you so much.
Yes, before you go, a very quick one. There's a question to you before you go. And this person is asking, how does the Barry Dam spillage worsen climate change impact on food security in northern Ghana, particularly for communities affected by the flooding?
Okay, so let's look at this scenario. We know that in Ghana, our food basket is at the north and then the central part, and these are the areas that's going to be affected. So let's, for example, a farmer has maybe 10 acres of millet. Now,
you have 1 minute.
Okay, so I think he has given us a lot of time and a lot of information.
Yeah, actually.
On this dam spillage.
We have comments here, so let's take them and then we wrap up quickly as our time is almost up. So the first one says, hello Koko Digest, great show. The early spillage warns of worsening seasonal disasters. What long-term solutions like buffer zones and flood-resistant infrastructure are being considered to protect these communities? This is Patrick Bo in Dakuman. Then we also have, good morning Koko Digest. I saw the story of the farmer who drowned, and I cried. Oh, so sorry. And it could have been my father or brother. Sometimes we talk about flood victims like it's
So
let me take
for
that.
that one, let's put on record. NADMO has come out to the communique to say that it's not associated with the Barry Dam spillage.
Okay. So I think the co-comment is just trying to say it's like we are a little detached from the issue. So because it's saying here, sometimes we talk about flood victims like it's statistics, but these are real families losing loved ones, and this is Charity from Broadcasting. Then this one says, government asked people to move, but what about those who have no relative elsewhere? Will temporary shelters or camps be provided? This is Gertrude Lomo in Barrier. Then we have, why did we only get the warning about spillage 2 days earlier than planned? How can communities react if they are so pressed for time? But can't Ghana and Burkina Faso agree on a proper timetable and early warning system? I think that was related to the last question I asked. Then this is Kojo in Akwetiman. Then we have the last one saying, good morning, Koko Digest. I think providing boats is helpful, but can NADMO and local leaders ensure everyone gets the message, especially in remote villages? How are they coordinating ground level communication? This is Kwame Ofosu in Kwashiman. It's asking very, very pressing questions, and I really wish our guest was on the line so we could speak with him. But all too soon, our time is up, and this brings us to the end of the Koko Digest Morning Show. So I'm hoping that when we get to have a part 2, we would, ask these questions and then have them answered. Peter, let me take your last words before we go.
Yeah, so my last words, he actually touched on it, that it is high time we put measures in place. It is not every year that we come and sit down and talk about dam spillage. And then the amount involved in helping these people, NADBO and loan, the amount they have to put together to help in terms of food and all that. So government should consider the amount involved And my issue is they should just relocate the people from there. In terms of farming, once they get the warnings and everything, you know that this year, from this month to this month, you can farm here. But from this month to this month, the probability of the dam spillage happening is high. So they know. So once it happens, maybe you lose lives. Maybe the farms and other things, that is what is going to be affected. But we losing lives every year, it's very sad. And so government should also look into that and make sure that they provide money for that.
Lastly, I think Ghanaians, we are aware that wherever we are, whenever there's dam spillage, we are being affected. So in as much as we are waiting for government and other institutions, let's equally advise ourselves that where we are staying, we know when there's a dam spillage, we'll be affected. I think to move earlier before the process starts. We know it happens annually. So we shouldn't even wait before communication comes. Let's start preparing well ahead of time.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for your contributions. My contribution is we should put up very massive storage, facilities with very big polytanks, store this water in it and let them use, and prevent the flooding altogether. The water can be put to much better use rather than killing people and destroying property. Anyway, the show has ended and it's been an enriching time, an enlightening time with my co-host here and our guests as well. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you learned something. Thank you all so much for your time. I'm Yaya Awuno and I have Peter Nsia and Clement Yabankwe with me here. And we hope to see you bright and early on Tuesday morning. Do have an amazing weekend ahead.